In news from the USVI Criminal Courts, one Croix man faces multiple charges, including reckless endangerment, after running his ex-girlfriend's vehicle off the road. Another man has been arrested for driving under the influence, and a woman answers to domestic violence charges. On November 10th, a woman called 911 saying she had been assaulted with a vehicle. Police traveled to the scene where the woman told them that she had been driving east on the Queen Mary Highway in the vicinity of Kmart West when her ex-boyfriend, Jamal Lynch, rear-ended her with the red truck that he was driving, causing her to lose control. Lynch reportedly rear-ended her a second time before pulling alongside her on her right and ramming her vehicle again, pushing her off the eastbound lane completely. The shaken woman said that Lynch then angled his truck in front of her now stopped vehicle, blocking her exit. She told officers that the truck had no license plates. With his truck in the middle of Queen Mary's eastbound lane with traffic piling up behind him, Lynch reportedly exited the truck and began advancing towards her. The woman told police she was fearful for her life since Lynch had assaulted her previously, leaving injuries which had been documented by police. Concerned citizens blocked Lynch's advance, giving the nervous woman a chance to turn her vehicle around and flee in the opposite direction towards her sister's residence. She told officers that she would be filing a restraining order and told them that while she had not sustained any visible injuries from the ordeal, she was left with pain in her neck and back from being rammed multiple times. When police made contact with Lynch, he said that he did not drive any red truck because it was not registered. He told officers that the truck was at his friend's house, but refused to say where his friend lived because that unnamed individual reportedly did not want random people knowing where he lived. Police investigations turned up video of the incident taken by a witness on that day. The black Mazda being driven by Lynch's ex-girlfriend bore extensive damage to the trunk, rendering the hatch useless. The rear bumper was also badly damaged, with damage to the right passenger side door and red paint embedded in the body of the black vehicle. Lynch was arrested on Tuesday and charged with reckless endangerment in the first degree, assault in the third degree, and reckless endangerment in court or reckless driving. In court on Wednesday, a judge ruled that Lynch be allowed to post $200 in cash and signed an unsecured bond for the remainder of his $15,000 bail requirement. Once posted, he would be released to a third-party custodian. Lynch is barred from leaving St. Croix without the court's written permission and must surrender his passport. He is to report to the probation office every Tuesday and must remain employed. Lynch will be placed on 24-hour house arrest without the use of an electronic monitor and will only be allowed to leave the house for work, scheduled court appearances, and for hospital emergencies. He must maintain a minimum distance of 1,000 feet from the victim and have no contact directly or indirectly with either her or any witnesses in the matter. Another negligent driving arrest occurred on St. Thomas following a report that a red Jeep Wrangler was being driven erratically on Lemon Tree Road. Officers were dispatched to the location where, upon arrival, they found the Wrangler in question over the hillside of the eastbound lane. The driver, later identified as 60-year-old Edward McKenna, was still behind the wheel and refused medical attention. Asked to exit the vehicle and meet police back on the roadway, McKenna was observed stumbling and struggling to maintain his balance. Officers taking his statement about what transpired noted the smell of alcohol on McKenna's breath and his slurred speech. Due to the hilly terrain and the rain falling at the time, McKenna was taken to the Transport Investigation Bureau, where the 3 standardized field sobriety tests were administered. He admitted to not being able to perform 2 of them. A chemical intoximeter test yielded a result of 0.236 blood alcohol content, almost 3 times the legal limit of 0.08. McKenna was arrested and charged with driving under the influence, illegal blood alcohol content, and negligent driving. In court on Monday, a judge ruled that McKenna be allowed to post 10% of his $1,000 bail requirement to secure his release. His driving privileges have been suspended for 90 days, and McKenna is barred from leaving the St. Thomas and John district without the court's written permission. He must report to the probation office once a week and must have no contact with any witnesses in the matter. McKenna is prohibited from using alcohol or any controlled substance, as well as possessing a firearm, ammunition, or dangerous weapon. Finally, St. Croix woman Jasmari Bermudez was arrested and charged earlier this week following a report of an assault in a Frederickstead apartment complex. According to documents before the court, on November 15th, about 9:45 a.m., police were dispatched to the apartment building to render assistance to Bermudez, who had called 911 to report that she had been assaulted by her boyfriend. However, when police arrived at the location, they found Bermudez wielding 2 knives, which they confiscated. She told them that she and her boyfriend were lying in bed about 9:30 that morning, and he was texting on his phone, which made her upset. Bermudez told officers that she'd broken her partner's phone on the bedroom floor, gone to the kitchen to grab the 2 knives, and then went up to his face, pointing the knives at him and threatening to stab him. By her own admission, she then went outside and punctured the right rear tire of her boyfriend's vehicle. Bermudez's boyfriend told police that he had been texting his cousin about some jewelry when Bermudez took his phone and broke it on the floor. The pair fought, he said, before Bermudez went to the kitchen for the knives. His recollection of subsequent events aligned with Bermudez's narrative, and she was ultimately arrested and charged with assault in the 3rd degree as an act of domestic violence, destruction of property as an act of domestic violence, carrying or using a dangerous weapon, and disturbance of the peace by fighting. In court on Wednesday, a judge ruled that Bermudez be allowed to post $100 in cash and sign an unsecured bond for the remainder of her $15,000 bail requirement. Once posted, she would be released to the care of a third-party custodian. Bermudez is now barred from leaving St. Croix without the court's written permission and must surrender her passport if she has one. She must also report to the probation office every Tuesday and is to have no contact, direct or indirect, with her boyfriend or with any witnesses. She is to maintain a minimum distance of 1,000 feet away from him at all times.